The vision for the Warehouse Arts District is a place where artists can move to live, work, and show their work. The city has made variances to allow for that, which has been very helpful. We've identified over 250 artists that live in about a mile square area, and more artists are moving in, and it's really exciting to see how all of this has happened. I think our part in how this is developed is just showing up. There were existing artists here already. It has snowballed to where many more artists want to be living here. In the hot shop that we are in right now is the St. Petersburg Hot Glass Workshop. We encompass a lot of different things under one roof. We have DMG School Project, which teaches in inner city schools, provides classes. And the beginning of all of this was the gallery. And the gallery hosts new shows once a month, bringing in some internationally acclaimed artists to educate the public not only in what they're saying and the content of their work, but also to provide a platform to sell their work as well. The hot shop was actually built by Jacob Stout, our director of St. Pete Hot Glass Workshop. And we wanted a facility that could accommodate many different disciplines. So we are able to provide to artists that come into a new gallery, a new studio, not only a place to demonstrate, but to show finished work.
Well, I started building studios in college. The professor that I studied with was one of the pioneers in the early glass studio movement. He, as well as some other ceramicists, designed equipment that would take the glass blowing out of the factory and into your own private studio. When I showed up in the late 90s, he had already written a book on equipment building. And while it wasn't part of the curriculum, being a part of that studio, I learned and watched and helped out where I could. In the studio, we primarily do glass blowing, which involves using a glass blowing furnace that we melt 400 pounds of molten glass in. Once it's 2,000 degrees, it's a hot, gooey liquid that we can gather on the end of a pipe and basically blow bubbles with it. We use metal tools to shape those bubbles into various forms, and we add external color to the piece by using different metal oxides to bring color out in the glass. I think the art scene in St. Petersburg is fantastic. I'm very impressed with the community of artists in such a small city, specifically this Warehouse Arts District. While I've only been here 6 months, I've noticed a lot of different artists moving through, meeting one another, collaborating.
We are one of the first businesses here in the Warehouse Arts District. The building is a 1926 Seaboard Freight Depot. Originally from about 1926 to 1963, just about everything that came into St. Petersburg came through this building. About 2000 we opened here as St. Petersburg Clay Company, and from there it's grown. It's now the home to 5 different businesses. Train Station Center for Clay is, Morian Art Center for Clay, St. Petersburg Clay Company, High Water Clays of Florida, CA Cafe now, and then the Manning Arts Foundation. Well, here at the train station, in our classes, we have students from 5 to 85. And then in St. Pete Clay, they have members that have been working on the smallest little pinch pot, a soap dish, to folks that are doing just installation tile work, giant sculptures. Matt and Adam, the owners of St. Pete Clay, are in national juried shows all over the country.
That's one of the better ways of trying to get some notoriety in our field is applying to juried shows and getting your name accustomed with other people around the country that way. So we're kind of in that beginning stage right now where we're trying to build our names and build the name of St. Pete Clay as a whole. We were both artists in residence here in 2009, I believe.
Yeah.
So we saw a lot of what the potential was for St. Pete Clay and knew that it could really be built into something pretty extraordinary. And
having facilities like ours with kind of this wide variety of outdoor and indoor kilns, it's starting to become more popular in kind of a public sector sort of thing with different for-profit clay centers and non-profit clay centers. A lot of our best supporters are kind of long-term, so it's kind of keeping that long-term interest through the classes, through workshops, through the possibility of buying things.
Seeing the work of our members too in just the last year and a half really increase. The quality of what they're doing, we're attracting people who are more interested in what's going on here and everything. It's been growing in general.
Every year with our Artist in Residence program, we put out a national call, and we accept 6 people each year, and typically they're coming out of getting their bachelor's degree, their master's degree, or another residency somewhere else across the country. And so they just come here for a year, and we basically have a work trade agreement with us. They help us with a lot of the day-to-day facility sort of things, firing the kilns, and for that we give them a studio space, 24-hour access, and basically they can fire any of the kilns at just the cost of like the gas.
The Warehouse Arts District has been really great. We've been seeing a lot more people coming through the studios, a lot more traffic. They started doing a trolley that takes you through the entire district. It's been nice having all the different artists in the Warehouse Arts District. It brings in a good variety here. I know that we have painters, we have Mark Ailing, who is into metal sculptures, Duncan McClellan, who's doing glass, ourselves is doing ceramics. It brings in a wide variety of people, and it doesn't build it into what could be a competition, but so much as an organization and a destination for everyone to really come in and see all these different artists that are here.